Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm Mr. Owen and welcome to Crash Course in Study Skills 101. Today I am teaching you everything you ever needed to know about note-taking. This is Note-Taking 101. Let's get cracking. Studies have shown that the average attention span in the 21st century is 18 minutes. So I'm going to attempt to cover everything that you ever needed to know about note-taking in less than 18 minutes. Let's get the clock started now. Okay, with that said, if you're sitting here going, I have no idea how to take notes, I feel silly, don't. A lot of teachers don't teach it because they think the teacher before taught it, or they just kind of expect you to learn this skill at some point. It is not your fault. One thing I'm famous for is story time. So a quick story. When I was in college, I went to college and I found myself absolutely lost. I thought I knew how to take notes. I thought the teacher speaks, you just write it down. I thought, oh, I'll just write down everything I see. And I had all these things in my head that I realized were silly, and I had no idea absolutely how to take notes. So I had to figure it out for myself. And I don't want to leave you hanging. I absolutely want you guys to understand how to take notes. And one of the best things that I can teach you is give you a whole bunch of different strategies and ways to take notes, and then let you tailor that to what works for you. There is not exact ways to take notes. It's all based on who you are and your personality. One of the best examples I can give you is your closet. Think about your closet right now. Do you have a super organized closet? What do I mean by that? Is your closet color coordinated? Do you have your shirts divided from your blouses or your collared shirts or your pants? Is everything organized? Do you just throw it on the floor? Is it all over the place? These are all important things to understand about your personality, because your personality can impact a lot of the way that you should be taking notes to be the most effective note taker you can be. What do I mean by that? Take a look at this video. All right, welcome back. Okay, I know that was a lot, but I'm going to go over it. We're going to look at some slides here. So take a look at this first method. This is the Cornell method. And if you were like me and your teachers throughout school were always like, use the Cornell method, use the Cornell method. And I was always like, who the heck is this dude Cornell? And what is his method? I don't understand. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you right now. It's super easy. So I got my little Yoda on the slide. Master your notes you shall, comprehend much you will, fully understand you must. Sorry for the cheesy Yoda impersonation, but hopefully that helps you remember the Cornell notes. This is what they look like. Okay, so basically you're going to divide the left side of your paper into about a quarter to a third of the paper, and you're going to draw a line straight down, and then on the right hand side is where you're going to take your notes. So it's super easy. If you were going over history and it was Benjamin Franklin, you would write Benjamin Franklin, and then you could write some information to the right about Benjamin Franklin. If you were taking English and you were learning about Lord of the Flies, you could write in your notes section something about William Golding and the year it was written, things like that. Important thing to remember about Cornell Notes to be really effective is at some point within a day or so of that lecture, you want to go back and add some summarization into those notes. And in fact, it's one of the biggest tragedies in American note-taking is the teachers don't give you time to go back and really organize your notes. And that's going to kind of be the theme today. If you're jotting down all this stuff and you can barely keep up with the teacher, that's okay. Just remember that at some point, you should be going back through your notes and organizing them in one of the methods that we go over today. We've already shown you 5, but I'm going to show you more as we progress into this. And you're going to be able to try these out in different classes and see which one works best for you. And it may not be the same style for each class. You may use Cornell for one and mind mapping for another. That's okay. I want you to do what note-taking method works for you, and practice makes perfect. Let's look at another one. Got Mr. Clean on here, totally kind of looks like me, right, with the bald noggin. I love the outline method. This is my personal favorite because my closet is super organized. My closet is color coordinated. I have my collared shirts on one shelf. I have my shirts in another spot, my tank tops, my jeans. Everything is divided and organized. I'm super organized. Okay, I'm tidy, I compartmentalize, and so for me, the outline method works best. This is what it looks like. So if we were doing history and it was World War II, you could see I write major battles, and then as I indent, I'm adding material. So it's easy for the eye to actually capture this stuff when you're looking at it. You are not writing down every single detail. You are compartmentalizing and using an outline to help you remember things. And you can see here as it goes to Western Europe, we indent again, and I talk about battles. We've got Battle of France, we've got Operation Overlord. I wanted to add some notes about Operation Overlord, and that's actually the Battle of Normandy and the date and things like that. So all you do is you keep indenting when you want to add more information to things. It's a really cool way to take notes if you're super organized. If so far you saw something that you really liked, feel free to try it out in one of your classes. If you haven't seen one that you like so far, that's okay. We'll move on. This is the charting method. I don't know if you guys are fans of Speedy Gonzales. It was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. He used to always run really fast and he'd go, arriba, arriba, arriba. And this is great if you're fast, if you're efficient, and you're prepared. So if you're not like me, and maybe you like to put your clothes away quickly, but you remember where everything is, and that's not a problem for you, and you're super efficient, this might be the best note-taking method for you. Let's take a look at an example. So this is just one way that you could do it. And you've got columns, you can write dates, events, people, significance. Super easy way to stay organized, but also be very efficient and do it quickly. Okay? Another way that you can do it is mind mapping. Here's a little picture of Megamind to help you remember. Amazing, amazing cartoon movie if you haven't seen it. I do resemble Megamind a little bit, again, sensing the bald noggin theme with all my characters here. If you are a visual learner, this is going to be amazing for you. If you see connections to things, if you don't really need note-taking as much as some and you can remember a lot of things and you like to visualize things, this is a great way for you. Here's an example of a mind map. Okay, you've probably seen these before. You probably did them when you were younger. Okay, you can use Venn diagrams here as well, and you can take a subject. This works, I think, really well for science, but you can use it for any subject. And you can take themes and you can connect things on top of each other. And that's a great way to take notes. Okay, one of the methods they went over is the sentence method. Okay, I want you to stop using the sentence method. This is the note-taking they teach you in 4th and 5th grade when they really just want you to write stuff down. Okay, this is for people that are new to note-taking. They like to write everything down. How many of you have done that, right? Where you just think, I'm going to write everything down, that way I don't miss anything. But the problem is if you have 10 or 20 pages of notes for a 10-question test, that's not doing you any good. The idea to notes is that you're summarizing the information that you've already learned. The idea isn't that you're going to write everything down. In fact, by writing everything down and not learning it, you're actually creating a lot more work for yourself. It's much easier to grasp the information, summarize it in one of the note-taking skills that we're learning, and then that way you have it all in there and you can go back through it and you can go, oh, I remember that. That's Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I know about that. Or that's Operation Overlord. I've got this in my notes right here. Okay, that's the way to do it. Now, if you're using the sentence method now, that's okay. And if you like taking that during class for note-taking, that's okay. But what I want you to do is if you're using the sentence method where you're just writing down anything the teacher says, go back at some point within a day or two of that lecture and put it into some sort of organizational method. That's the key to taking notes. I told you when I was in college and I was lost, what I figured out was I could take notes with a professor, and then if I sat down and reorganized my notes and summarized everything, I was golden. And so now not only am I listening to the teacher, I'm writing down what the teacher has to say, I'm now reading it, and then summarizing the material again. And so you're getting kinesthetic learning, visual learning, auditory learning. You're getting all these ways that you're learning the material, and it's going to just help you grasp it all that much more. Okay, so get out of the habit of just using the sentence method because there's no formal organizations. You're skipping lines, you're leaving extra space, and it can just kind of get discombobulated and all over the place. And I don't want that to happen to you. Again, it's okay if you do it, but make sure at some point you go back. And if you start going back with your notes and reorganizing them, I'm telling you it's going to change your life. Okay? All right. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm freaking out. The cool thing about watching a video is you can pause it, you can take a break, because now I'm going to show you 5 other note-taking methods that most people don't talk about. Most teachers just say, take Cornell notes, take Cornell notes. Cornell notes don't work for everybody. I can't stand Cornell notes. They don't work for me. I like organization. But here are 5 other methods that may really, really work for you. Take a listen.
If you've been watching studying videos for like 5 minutes, then you've already heard of the Cornell method, mind maps, or the famous outline technique. These are all proven ways to take effective notes in class or during revision because they provide a clear structure for ideas, facts, and arguments, and have been used by top-scoring students all over the world. But even if they are great, which they are, you're probably sick and tired of hearing about those 3. So today we're going to cover note-taking methods that usually no one talks about, and that are also incredible ways to organize information and ideas without resorting to the traditional note-taking methods. The split page method is a great note-taking method for factually dense subjects and is used as a more condensed version of flashcards, promoting active recall after your lectures or in preparation for evaluation. You can adapt it according to your class by using facts, topics, or questions. Dividing the page in half, you can insert the name of the topic or the question that needs to be answered in the left side of the page and the corresponding answer or definition on the right column. You can either study these notes normally or by folding the page to create an added challenge and quizzing yourself on these topics. This type of note-taking system can be easily recreated in digital formats, and I will link down below an awesome video that explains how you can do it in Google Sheets. The QEC method is another study method that Cal Newport talks a lot about in his Straight A Students book. QEC stands for Question, Evidence, and Conclusion, and the main purpose of this system is to structure all of your lectures into question, evidence, and conclusion formats that you can then compile into one big study guide. Besides reducing the amount of unnecessary information transcribed into your notes, the QEC system creates a clear and obvious interrelation between topic, conclusion, and then the stream of facts and arguments that connect the two. Furthermore, this note-taking system is 2-in-1, since besides helping you organize information while you are reading or attending your lectures, you're also creating valuable study materials to use during revision. The Morse code method is a note-taking method also envisioned by Cal Newport, and it focuses mainly on taking advantage of written materials. Whenever you find a sentence that seems to be laying out a main idea, you should draw a dot next to it in the margin. If you then come across an example or explanation that supports that big idea, you should draw a dash next to it on the margin. This allows you to record information without breaking your reading momentum, so you can then take notes. The act of taking the thoughts you've written and transforming them into notes is called the processing stage, and it basically requires you to paraphrase the main idea in your own words in a bullet point. The author then encourages you to take all of these sentences and review them in the format of a major question. What is the main question being asked in the article? What is the conclusion the authors point towards? Flow notes are very similar to mind maps, but they have no rules in terms of structure. Although difficult to review, they allow you to incorporate a large amount of information during your class, because they are a free pass for you to simply throw facts, arguments, topics, and dates on the page with no specific order, while connecting and linking these ideas as you hear them. Flow notes are great for those who hate transcribing information and really prefer to process what they're hearing into workable sentences or words. It's actually kind of an holistic method that works wonders for classes with no clear structure or discussion with interrelated components that aren't easily organized via outline formats. In case your class is highly dense on information, making it really impossible to compress all of the facts, you can still use flow notes as a hybrid system to comment and annotate original materials and textbooks, to create summaries or visual aids for complex chapters or topics. The sentence method is similar to the outline method, as it relies on an expansive vision of your notes. But instead of using indenting and topic formulation, it uses one-liners, one per paragraph, to create a guide for each topic that is easily readable, workable, and memorable. The other major difference is that while the outline technique uses indentation to hierarchize the importance of different segments of the topic, by avoiding indenting, the sentence method considers every sentence of equal value, which means that topics with a high level of detail or information can benefit from this system, as they force you to memorize details as well as key ideas relating to the topic.
All right, welcome back. So let's put all this together, okay? So what I want you to get out of today is stop just writing everything down. You need to get organized and find a method that works for you. Practice this method. Spend time organizing your notes. Having organized notes, I promise you, will make studying easier. Practice. You can rewind this video as many times as you want. I've gone over 10 methods. You can check them out, and you may like some for some subjects and not for others, and some for certain teachers and some for others. But it's important you start to learn these methods. That way you have more weapons in your arsenal. You have more instruments in your band, if you will, right? These are all going to be techniques that are really going to help you. But please, start organizing your notes. It's so important. This is Note-Taking 101. I do have one more thing to add before I mic drop. If you have a book and you highlight, when I was in college, I thought I was the world's greatest student because I would read a book and then I would highlight everything. And I would look back over it and I'd be like, I'm such a good student, I highlighted everything. Stop highlighting everything, that's not good. What you want to do is you want to read everything first, then go back and highlight only what's important, okay? One other thing, if you watch this video and you're like, I know how to take notes, I use color pens, I have a color coordinating system, stop. Because the idea that for the rest of your life, you are going to have every colored pen that you need, it ain't going to work. Trust me. You'll lose a red pen, then you lose a purple pen, and then all of a sudden, your thing's all over the place. So if you were somebody that like in 6th grade, your mom or dad bought you a cool set of pens and you've been doing the colored pen technique thing, stop. Because I promise you at some point, you will be in a situation where you don't have all your colored pens and it's going to throw you off. Okay, so those are my recommendations. Again, go back, rewind, learn. Let's check the time. We did this in about 18 minutes, people. This is Note-Taking 101. Rewind the video, practice, practice, practice. Organize your notes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.